Hello everybody and welcome to my new video here on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring a new video here to my channel, which is the differences between Danes and Portuguese. Also, some things that I'm going to refer here on the video are more like cultural stuff and also how we behave. And I think this is quite interesting because we are still in Europe and we have so many differences and we behave differently in many situations. So to start with, all the things that I'm going to refer are things that I've been noticing in many people that I've been crossing myself with, and I've been noticing in also office colleagues, or I was working on a burger shop when I arrived to Denmark. So all of the things that I'm going to refer here is based on my experience, so don't take it super serious. It's just my perspective and how I've been feeling here in Denmark and how I feel that Danes are different from Portuguese. It's the beginning that I feel that here in Denmark is quite easy when you go to a public service like Skat or Burger, or when you go to public transportation, also shops and restaurants. People are very nice. They always answer and they always ask you something with a smile on their face, and they are very nice and polite in their words. This not always happens in Portugal and with Portuguese people. Sometimes they look like they're making a favor to you. So especially not that much on shops and restaurants, but in public service, like when you go to solve some bureaucracy in Portugal, people are not very nice and they don't answer you with a smile. Also in Portugal, compared to Denmark, it's very hard to take care of bureaucracy stuff. It's super complex, there is always an issue, and you kind of lose your patience. Here in Denmark is quite easy, so everything is very organized and everything is digital, which makes everything way easier. So Danes are very strict about working schedule. In terms of working schedule, they work from 9 to 5 and everyone leaves at 5. Of course, there are some businesses where this might be slightly different, and I talk by myself as an experience. I work in advertisement, I work in an advertising agency, so we usually stay longer some days because we need to finish something and we have very strict deadlines. Here in Denmark, they are very strict on the working schedule, as I said before, and they do a lunch pause of 30 minutes sharp. Nobody stays longer than this, and also they don't stop many times during the working time for coffees and smoke and so on. This in Portugal is way different. The working schedule usually it's from 9 to 6, and we have a lunch pause that can be from 1 to 2 o'clock, or also from 1 to 2:30. So it takes between 1 hour, 1 hour and 30 between the place that you were working. And we pause many times. Of course, I was on an advertising agency, so everything was also different in Portugal, but usually people stop for smoke many times, they go to the toilet many times, and they also take private calls during the working hours. We also do a lot of extra hours in Portugal, and I think that's part of the culture, the working culture that we have. I don't particularly agree. I think we should be able to do everything in time and leave in time as well, but somehow bosses in Portugal, they expect you to stay longer. I don't know why this happens, maybe because we pause many times during the day, so then people stay longer. But I have no idea, because in the business area that I work, everything goes so fast that everything is different than regular working places. The third thing that I want to mention is football. Football in Portugal, it's like a religion. People are very attached to it, and I'm from Lisbon, and you cannot notice a game in town. The city gets crazy, it's people all over the place and cars, and it gets super busy. Here in Copenhagen, I don't really notice that people are that attached to football. At least when I talk to my colleagues, it's never a subject of conversation at lunch, or maybe because I also don't speak Danish, so I don't probably understand, but I don't really see a culture like this in the streets. In Portugal, when we have a game, at least people have scarves and t-shirts and the metro gets crazy. here in Copenhagen and I don't really notice it. The fourth thing I want to mention is our gatherings. In Portugal, when we gather together, it's mainly about food. Of course, we have an event like a wedding or a baptism or so on, or we also have a birthday to celebrate, but food is the main thing in our table. It's one of the most important things when we have a gathering together, and even though we drink, we always have the food together and it's part of our culture. Here in Denmark, I don't notice this that much. I know people get together as well, but they gather more to drink than to eat. They usually eat something that it's fast, and they eat something at home, and then they gather together for beers and wine and gin tonic and so on. So in Portugal, we are all friends. We meet someone in a bar or in a disco, and suddenly it's our friend and it's in our house eating with us and gathering together with our friends. Here in Denmark, I don't see it that straightforward. It's quite hard to make a friendship with a Dane and keep it going for a long time. I think here in Denmark, you need more time to be friend of someone, and also they are very into themselves, so most of the time they don't tell you everything about their lives. And on the other hand, in Portugal, we go straight away, we tell everything we want, and just we start a friendship like this. So in Portugal, for me, I think it's quite easy to make new friendships. In Denmark, I don't think it is. I think it will take time and time and time for you to be sure you are a friend with a Dane. Also here in Denmark, they don't mix friends. So they have their friends from high school, their friends from kindergarten, and probably their friends from college, but they don't mix those friends. In Portugal, we don't care. We mix all our friends, we do one birthday party with everyone and everyone hangs out together, everyone speaks to each other, so it's quite easygoing, I could say. I think here in Denmark is harder to get into this environment and this culture. Then the school mindset. In Portugal, we have the high school and we finish the high school and we go straight to college. If someone thinks of taking a gap year just to travel and to work and to learn more about life, that's something that is not well seen. People like parents and grandparents and society in general is not prepared to have this gap year for you to explore other stuff. We are educated and raised in this culture where you finish high school, you go straight to college, you finish college, you go straight to work, and you don't stop ever since. In Denmark, I really think that the way that kids or teenagers are raised, it's quite good because they usually take a gap year between high school and college. And this for me, I think it's quite important because with 18 years old, you probably don't know what you want to do for the rest of your life. So it's a nice time to take to think and to find what you like to do. So people here in Denmark, they usually take a year or two to travel, to work, to try new things so they can find the thing that they like to do and be sure about it. It's not very usual that people leave high school and start college straight away. And I think this could be something that Portugal could start to learn from Danes, because that's why many people quit on the first couple of months in college. And because of what I already said, people here in Denmark, they usually leave their parents' house very early, around 18, 19 years old, and in Portugal, that's not how it is. We stay in our parents' house as long as possible because it's quite expensive to rent and to buy a house. And of course, people leave their parents' house if they are going to study in another city, but if they are studying in the same city that their parents live, they live with the parents until they finish school and then they start to work. Because I think this happens because economically Portugal is a bit different than Denmark. So that's one of the reasons I assume that young people stay in their parents' house for many, many years. For example, in my case, I only left my parents' house when I moved to Denmark and I was 24 years old and I was working, but I didn't have money to rent or buy a house, so I was living with my parents, and this culture is quite common and normal in Portugal. Relationships in Denmark are quite different from relationships in Portugal. And when I say this, I think Denmark is quite open in terms of relationships, and I know some couples live together for many years and they have open relationships and they hang out with another boys and another girls, and I was not that familiar with this concept. Of course, I knew that this happened all over the world, of course, but I was not very into this. Also because I think in Portugal we are a bit more conservative there here in Denmark, and in terms of relationships, I think our relationships are, it's not per se more serious, but they last longer. And also here in Denmark, I feel that sex is something that is different that we see it in Portugal. It's something more occasional and you can just go out and try something different. In Portugal, of course, we also have people that hang out with different boys every night or different girls every night, but I feel that here in Denmark that's something that are more open and it's not a taboo to talk about. And on the other hand, in Portugal, I feel sometimes that girls and boys can be a bit, not ashamed, but they don't really talk about it, and here is something that is quite normal and everyone talks about it and it's fun. Last but not the least, Danes here in Denmark have an expression that I love, and they usually say this expression when you help them with something or when you are working. They also tell you that by the end of the day when you go home, or sometimes you spend a great afternoon or evening with someone and they always say tack for day, which basically means thank you for today. I think this is a very grateful sentence, and I really appreciate when they say that to me. It was something that I learned here, and it's amazing when your chief or your boss just says that to you. I feel very grateful and I feel that I did a good job that day. Of course, you also say this between friends and also between family, but for me it means a lot when it's in a work situation, because in Portugal nobody would ever say this to you in a work situation because the mindset is very different. You are there and you are employed, you are receiving money, so you are the one that should be grateful to be there and have a job. And with this sentence, and when they say this to me here in Denmark, I just feel super happy because they are showing that they like my work and they appreciated that I was there to help them in the day. So I feel quite good, I can say, and this is something that I will take with me for my whole life. I think it's amazing and we should all implement this sentence by the end of the day, every day. So guys, I've just shown you some difference between Portuguese people and Portuguese culture and Danish culture and Danes in general. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and give me some questions here on the comments box for further videos and also some recommendations if you feel to. And give me a like on the video if you like this type of content. Don't forget to subscribe my channel because a lot of things are coming this new year and I have a lot of things to show you on my new adventure. And stay tuned. Thank you. Bye.